Cool. Good morning. My name is Sandy Levesque. This is the Think and Grow Rich Daily Hangout. We meet every morning, Monday to Friday, to read from Think and Grow Rich and any Napoleon Hill books, relevant lectures, and really just to support each other in developing more prosperity consciousness and unplugging from the kind of dominant program around us where people tend to think that there's just not enough for anyone, let alone them. So welcome to the group. If you're watching or you've just joined the Facebook group, or if you're watching this after we're live, you can actually come into the Hangout. You don't have to, even if you're new, you're perfectly welcome to. So I had a couple of questions about that, and I realized people didn't think they could. So no matter, if you've just joined the Facebook group, you're very welcome. This is open to all. Glenn and Geraldine, who I'm here with today, they just chose to come this morning. So there's no, special rights. I'm very happy that you're both here. Do you want to just say hi?
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody.
So we're actually covering quite a few places because I'm in France. Geraldine, you're in
Ireland, Kerry.
Yeah.
Kerry in Ireland.
County Kerry, right? I guess County Kerry.
Yeah.
I'm in Nashville, of course.
Yeah, Glenn's in Asheville, Tennessee, in America. So today we're actually reading from Your Right to Riches, which was a series of lectures Napoleon did in the 40s and 50s. We're on the fourth one and on page 4. So does anyone have a burning desire to read?
Well, I'd love to hear Geraldine's beautiful Irish lilt.
I think I've only downloaded as far as 3. I thought we were still on 3. Let me I'll just have a check.
It should be in the group. Let me just bump it up. Let me find it. Oh God, I don't know how I'm going to do that. If you go to Files, Geraldine.
Okay.
That's the quickest way, and it's the second to the top one, the 4 of 9.
So Sandy, you'll be off until next Wednesday, I guess, right?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I'm moving. I'm driving to Portugal on Monday. So excited because my dog and I are moving country. We're leaving France,
Yes.
and we're arriving on Tuesday. So I'm not sure. I think we'll have there's definitely internet there. So let's go for Wednesday.
Yeah. But you can update. Right?
Yeah. If there's any issues, then I'll just post on Tuesday evening. Because jet lag definitely won't be a problem. There's just 1 hour difference. So I won't be jet lagged like I was coming back from America. I just totally slipped through the Hangout.
Yeah. So are you going to change the starting time, do you think?
Oh, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, because that would mean really hot for you, wouldn't it?
Right? I'm just throwing it out there. Just think about it, right?
Yeah, I'll have a think about it. Oh gosh, I hadn't thought about that. I might do a poll in the group, see what time people prefer. That's going to be really too early for you, isn't it, Glenn, if we do it at...
No. If you, let's see, if you maintain the same time, that would actually be later for me, an hour later, I think. I mean, I believe, right?
Oh, you're right.
Portugal's... Oh, Richard's here today, too. Oh, great.
Hey. Cool. Hey, Richard.
Yeah, well, Sandy, look at the times, right? And then just determine when you want to do it, and that's fine,
Okay.
We'll accommodate accordingly.
I think it would be the same. I think I'll just do it at the same time, and it might be a bit earlier for me. Yeah, I think I'll stick to that.
Portugal, I guess.
Yeah, I'll just stick to the same time. That feels better, and it will just be a bit earlier. But I've got to check. Yeah, I'll think about it, and then.
Okay.
I wonder if we can hear Richard. Are you there?
Good morning, Richard.
Morning, Richard.
I'm here. Good morning.
Oh yeah, we can.
How are you doing?
Yay. Okay. Cool.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool.
yeah, we can definitely hear you.
Oh, excellent. I have my better mic. So how y'all doing?
Good.
Really good.
Fine.
Yeah.
Good.
It's Friday.
Yeah, you must be really. You must be really excited, Sandy.
Yeah, I am actually. It's like my last working day in France for a while.
Today is.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Wow, cool. So you'll be in Portugal tomorrow, or how long will it take?
It takes about 10 hours, 11 hours to drive. I think it might be about 12 actually. Well,
You
10 or 11.
You gonna do it all at once, or what?
No, we're gonna do it in 2 bits. Find somewhere to stop on the Monday, and then in Spain, and then continue the next day on Tuesday. So. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. It's really not that far. Compared to the United States, you can drive 10 hours in the United States and not
get my
anywhere.
Friends are laughing because they would just do it in one go, and because I'm European, it's like a road trip. Taking a pit stop.
I remember Bill Bryson. Have you heard of Bill Bryson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a travel writer, humorist, and he lived in England. I guess he still lives in England. He talks about how in England, if you go somewhere, everything feels like a long way. Oh my God, you're going 50 miles. Oh my God, because it's a country.
I think I've read that too. They take like sandwiches and tea.
Yeah.
Stop in a hotel. We might end up doing it in one day if it's easy roads, I think. I'm not sure yet.
Oh, yeah. Right. So you're going to do the Pyrenees. That'll be nice.
Oh, we're getting a bit of feedback on your line.
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, but it sounds like you're an alien.
I am an alien.
And the back lights
I'm an alien in the country I'm in, anyway.
Yeah.
How is it now? Is that any better?
That's okay.
The backlight's a little tough there, I think, too, Sandy, right?
Oh, the backlight.
Yeah,
well, let's see if I can make it.
Yeah, maybe just shift the position. Yeah. So
maybe
let's see if it helps.
Does
that help at all? It's a little.
Yeah, that helps a little. That helps a little. Getting that netted.
I'm kind of in it. I'm in a gazebo on a little, kind of a weird little thing. It's like a little pool that's been artificially made. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh wow!
But yeah, it's like a little gazebo that's got this kind of a moat around it, or it's actually in a moat. Yeah. And it has these little sitting areas. Yeah. And I'm right on the lake. You can see the lake. Yeah. There. And all the hills here. Can you see it? Or is it not clear enough? Yeah.
A little bit. It's
and over in that direction is the Himalayas, and when it's clear, you can see the Himalayas.
Oh wow! How cool!
Yeah.
We're getting to see.
Yeah. So you. Right. You got to see Nepal. Yeah, cool.
Did you find the book building?
Yes.
Sorry.
Will I try and
screen share?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were on page 4 too, weren't we, Sandy?
Yeah, exactly. Page 4, and it's number 6, persistence, I think. No. Oh, sorry, no.
5, self-discipline. I think we were next up.
Yeah.
Okay, see, when I'm pressing screen share, it's just bringing up this. I'm not really sure why it's not bringing up the. Hold on.
Oh, there we go.
Is it up?
You got it. Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Okay. And now I haven't got it. Hold on. If I get rid of this. Is it gone?
It looks like it's coming in there.
The screen share is working, but we can't see the. You might just need to click on the book. There we go. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Are we on page 4?
Yeah. And
Yes,
it's
just self-discipline, right? Number 5 on the number 5.
Okay. So. Self-discipline sufficient to ensure mastery of the head, the heart, and to sustain one's motives until they are realized. Where and when do you need self-discipline most, do you think? When you're on your way up and when everything is rosy? Is that when you need it? The audience members, no. Napoleon, I thought you'd call me on that one. That's right. You need self-discipline when the going is hard and when the outlook is not favorable. What kind of self-discipline do you need at that point? You need discipline over your mind to the extent that you know where you're going. You know that you have a right to go there, and you know that you're determined to go there, regardless of how hard the going may be or how much opposition you meet with. You'll need at least enough self-discipline to sustain through the period when the going is hard instead of quitting or complaining. 6. Persistence based on the will to win. Do you know how many times the average person has to fail before he quits or decides he wants to do something else? Audience member, once. Napoleon, once. Did you ever hear of the fellow who fails before he starts because he knows that he can't do it? That cuts it down below 1. Would you be interested in knowing that the vast majority of people fail before they start? They actually never make a start. They think of things that they might do, but they never do anything about it. Did you know also that the vast majority of the people, even though they do start at the first opposition, they quit or allow themselves to be diverted over to something else? Napoleon's most outstanding asset was the self-discipline with which to stick to a thing all the harder when the going was the hardest. Without those traits, he never would have completed this philosophy, and he never would have been able to have it introduced as widely as it has been. Is that trait something you're born with, or is it something that you can acquire? Audience members, acquire. Well, if you couldn't acquire it, there would be no use talking about this lesson, would there? Audience members, no. Certainly you can acquire it, and it's not difficult at that. What is it that causes a person to be persistent, by the way? Audience member, motive. Napoleon, yes, motive, a burning desire. Do you know what a burning desire is? A burning desire is what makes people persistent, isn't it? Napoleon never thought of persistence and a burning desire that he didn't think of his courtships. He put more persistence and more burning desire back of his courtship more than anything else ever went into in his life. Without that, you can't get very far in courtship. Don't you think you could transmute that emotion over to something else, putting it back of your business, profession, or job, and have just as much emotional feeling about attaining success in your job as you could about selling yourself to the one of your choice? Don't you think you could do that? Do you know that the word transmute means, by the way? What does it mean, audience member? Redirect. Audience member, yes. Napoleon, marvelous, marvelous. If you haven't tried it, start trying it. Next time you feel moody or discouraged, try to change that over into an emotion of courage and faith. See what a marvelous thing happens to you. It'll change your whole chemistry the whole chemistry of your whole brain and your whole body, and you'll be much more effective. 7. A well-developed faculty of the imagination, controlled and directed. Do you think those last words there are important? Audience member, yes. Napoleon, yes, an imagination not controlled and directed might be very dangerous. Napoleon once made an analysis of all the men in the federal penitentiaries of the US. He did that for the Department of Justice, and you'd be interested in knowing that the majority of the men in the penitentiary were there because they had too much imagination, but not controlled and directed in a constructive direction. Imagination is a marvelous thing, but if you don't have it under control, and if you don't direct it to constructive ends, it may be very dangerous to you. The habit of forming definite and prompt decisions. 8. The habit of forming definite and prompt decisions. Do you form definite and prompt decisions when you have all of the facts in hand to make decisions? Audience member, yes. Napoleon, I think some of you are just a little bit too modest. Seriously, friends, if you do not have the habit of making decisions promptly and definitely, clear-cut decisions, when all of the facts are in, you're loafing on the job, you're procrastinating, and you're destroying this very vital thing called personal initiative. One of the finest places to place practicing personal initiative is to learn to make decisions firmly, definitely, and quickly once you have all the facts available. Napoleon wasn't talking about snap judgments, opinions, or snap judgments based upon half-baked evidence. He was talking about facts, all of the facts, on a given subject which are in your hands and available. You should then do something with those facts. You should make up your mind exactly what you're going to do and not dilly-dally around as so many people do. If you do that, first thing you know, you'll be in the habit of dilly-dallying around in connection with everything. In other words, you'll not be a person who acts upon his own personal initiative. 9. The habit of basing opinions on facts instead of relying on guesswork. How many of you do that? How many of you can rely upon facts instead of guesswork? Well, you're a pretty truthful bunch, I think. I wonder if you recognize how many times you're acting on guesswork in comparison with the number of times you're acting upon facts informing your opinions. Did you know that you have no right to an opinion about anything at any time, anywhere, unless it's based upon facts or what you believe to be facts? Did you know that? Why is that true? Because you don't want to get into trouble. You don't want to fail. That's why. Of course, you can go ahead and have opinions. We all do. A flock of them. You can even give them to someone else without them asking for them. And we do that right along. Before you really and truly can safely express an opinion or have one, you must do a certain amount of research and base your opinion upon facts or what you believe to be facts. 10. Enthusiasm. The capacity to generate enthusiasm at will and under control. Do you know how to generate enthusiasm at will, audience members? Act, sincere, conviction. Napoleon, fine. What's back of all of this? What happens before you start doing anything in connection with enthusiasm? You have to feel it, don't you? You have to feel the emotion. Your mind has to be alerted with some definite objective, purpose, or motive. Then you do something about the motive. You do it with words, with the expression of your face, or by some form of action. That word action is inseparable from the word enthusiasm. You can't separate the two. There are two kinds of enthusiasm. There's pervasive enthusiasm, which you feel, but you give no expression of it whatsoever. There are times when you need that kind There are times when you need that kind, because if you don't have that kind, you disclose to other people what goes on in your mind at times when you don't want that to happen. You take a great leader, and while he may have tremendous amounts of enthusiasm, he will display that enthusiasm only to whoever he pleases and under whatsoever circumstances he pleases. You will not just turn it on and go off and leave it. That's the way you and I do it. Or do we? That's the way the majority of people do. When they have enthusiasm, they just turn it on and blubber over in it, and they accomplish nothing. Controlled enthusiasm turned on at the right time and then turned off at the right time is an important thing, and your initiative is the only thing that can control that. If you took that one subject alone, the question of how to turn on and off enthusiasm, and cut the art down fine, you would become a marvelous salesman of anything you wanted to sell. Did you know that? You really could. Did you ever hear of anybody selling anything that didn't feel enthusiasm for what he's trying to sell? Did you? Audience member, no. Napoleon, did you ever sell anything that you didn't have the feeling of enthusiasm over what you were trying to do for the other fellow? Audience member, no. You may have thought you did, but you didn't. If you didn't have that feeling of enthusiasm or your own initiative, then you didn't make a sale. Somebody may have bought something from you because they needed it and had to have it, but you had very little to do with it unless you have that feeling that you imparted to them. How do you start the feeling of enthusiasm to another person? How do you do that when you're selling, for instance? Audience member, you must be sold on it yourself. Napoleon, you must be sold on it yourself. That's a very good way of putting it. In other words, it starts inside of your own emotional makeup. You must feel that way. If you open your mouth and speak, you must speak with enthusiasm. You must put enthusiasm into the expression of your face. Put on a smile, a good broad one. Nobody speaks with enthusiasm with a frown on his face. The two just don't go together, do they? Audience member, no. Napoleon, no, they don't. There are a lot of things that you must learn about this business of expressing enthusiasm if you're going to make the most of it, and all of them involved your personal initiative. You've got to do it. Nobody can do it for you. Napoleon can't tell you how to be enthusiastic, but he can tell you the component parts of enthusiasm and how to express it. After all, the job of actually expressing it is up to you. 12. Tolerance. Do you know what tolerance is? Audience members. An open mind. Napoleon. An open mind of what? Audience members. All subjects. Napoleon. How many of you are open-minded on anything? Come on. Napoleon laughed. Do you really think you are? I would hate to tell you how far off you are on that one, because you're friends of mine and I want to keep you that way. Open-minded on all subjects? I'll admit that I'm not. I'm not open-minded on all subjects. I'm open-minded on a lot of subjects, the ones that I want to be open-minded on. We shouldn't have any attitude towards any circumstances unless it's based upon something to justify that attitude, or what we believe to justify it at least. Do you have any idea how much value you deprive yourself of all the way through life just because you close your mind against somebody you don't like, when the person might be the most beneficial person in the world to you if you only had an open mind toward him? Did you know that one of the costliest things in an industrial or business organization is the closed minds of the people that work there? Did you know that? If you don't know that, I want you to find it out. It's the most costly thing in any business organization or any industry, is the closed minds of the people that work there. Closed towards one another, closed towards opportunities, closed towards the people they serve, and closed towards themselves. When you speak of intolerance, you often think of someone who doesn't like the other fellow because of his religion or his politics. That doesn't scratch the surface of the real meaning of this subject of intolerance. It extends to almost every human relationship, and unless you form the habit of maintaining an open mind towards all subjects, towards all peoples at all times, you'll never be a great thinker. You'll never have a great magnetic personality, and you certainly will never be very well liked unless you do have an open mind. Did you know that you can be very frank with whom you don't like and who you do like, and who do not like you, if they know that you're sincere and that you have an open mind? Did you know that? The one thing that people do not tolerate is to recognize that they're talking to someone whose mind is very closed, and when they're saying and what they're saying has no effect whatsoever, regardless of how much value there is in it or how much truth there is in it. There are a lot of people in this world whose mind is so definitely closed on so many things that you couldn't crack the mind with a sledgehammer, and you couldn't get an ounce of truth in there if you lived 100 years. They're just closed, tight, sealed. Should I?
Yeah, maybe I think that's a good place to stop. The number 13. Yeah, thank you, Geraldine.
No problem.
It's so nice to hear you read. I was like, taking ages to get you to stop. Keep going, keep going. So this is like a recap of the book. Actually, it's like a recap of the main points of the philosophy that he puts in Think and Grow Rich. So we covered quite a few things here. The burning desire, even when the going gets tough. Having enthusiasm, a genuine enthusiasm, being tolerant of other people. He also talked about actually basing your opinions on facts, not just judgments or rumors, making quick decisions, and directing your imagination. It's interesting that he interviewed all those people in prison. Yeah. Oh, Glenn, you're still muted, by the way. We can't hear you.
Yeah, it is interesting about the prisoners, because I've always said to myself, boy, if these criminals could put their imagination to the good, think of what they could add to the world, right? Yeah. Instead of taking the world, I mean, it's so that's a kind of a wise counsel there, I think, to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's right, like imagination,
Yeah, if they became legitimate entrepreneurs rather than illegal ones. And
then one of the other things he talked about this morning was being able to deal with people in your work that are difficult and things like that, and I think we've all encountered that, I'm sure, in our work lives,
Yeah.
I think that that's keeping, being, taking those lessons and making them more expansive, right? Instead of making them negative, turning them into something more.
Yeah. Yeah, like looking at the good in every situation, I guess. Sometimes if we don't like someone, it's easy to just shut them off, but also sometimes something I learned once that's quite useful is that sometimes people annoy us because we see things in them that we don't like in ourselves.
Exactly,
or that we used to do. And that sometimes happens, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, the Dalai Lama refers to them as sacred friends. He says you have friends that are easy to love, then you have sacred friends, and those are the ones that challenge you and actually cause your heart to expand if you handle it right.
Right. Yeah. If you don't get angry or separate, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've all gone through that, I think, you know, in our life, you know, times we're
Yeah.
challenged to on that.
At the same time, I think if you also have to mix in just being aware of how people are, because if someone's very negative or they're the kind of person that you don't feel great after being around them, then I'd keep an open mind, but I would also perhaps choose just to spend less time with
Yeah,
them.
you
Yeah, I think that's a good solution too.
know, you can't have that negativity. It's not very helpful, you know.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be with any judgment that I don't like them, they're a bad person. It's just, okay, that's how this person is. Just like an
Yes.
observation, and you observe that, if you're on a different trajectory, this person's not going to help you get there. So you just kind of drift a bit away. Doesn't have to be like, never speak to me again. I actually did that once when I was a teenager. My best friend growing up, we spent tons of time together. And then one day I decided she was too negative because um, she was very witty, but her wit was kind of around attacking a lot of stuff. And so I just told her when I was 16, I don't want to be friends with you anymore because you always put things down and you're just kind of a negative person. And I wasn't reading any personal development. I just had enough. And I did the opposite of what Napoleon's doing here because I sort of rejected her and then I didn't speak to her. And we didn't speak for years until we bumped into each other in funny how the universe works. Many years later, in a very busy London street, and she recognized me, and I was with some university friends, and we became friends again. And she's very successful now. And she's not as negative as she used to be. It's funny. Um, the other thing that I liked about what he was saying here was when you're feeling down or you don't have the courage to just do something to transform it into courage, you know,
Yes.
because I think we all have those days when you don't feel, oh, we just lost Geraldine, totally, you don't jump out of bed or you're not like massively enthusiastic. And since I've been reading this book, I've noticed that but before I would kind of just be a bit worried about what was going on with that. Now, when that happens, I just think, oh, it's that thing again. you know, like
You're
someone I
right.
know
You
called,
get through it. Yeah, you're right through it.
yeah, like it's almost like you just identify it. Like someone I know calls it the dragon.
Yeah.
and and I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna let the dragon stop me. I'm gonna just keep doing what I've got to do today anyway. And it just by the end of the day, I forget that I woke up feeling like that. Does anything else come to your mind before we finish today?
Um, let's see. You were going to tell us something about growth, right?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, actually, I think you should, Glenn, what you shared with me before we went live about
Yeah.
the blade of grass. Do you want to share it, or shall I share it?
Well, yeah, I'd like you to share it, Sandy, because I think
Okay.
it's a good.
It's a little story that's a really beautiful one, actually. It's about it's from Mary Morrissey, and she says that with any blade of grass, there are 1,000 angels above it, telling it grow, 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 like
That's
whispering
from
to
the
it, grow.
Talmud.
Sorry,
Yeah, that's from the Talmud. That's from the Talmud. From the
the
Talmud.
Talmud.
Yeah, the Talmud.
Okay, I don't understand. Could you post the name of that in the group afterwards?
Yeah, it's from the Talmud. I'll write the same too. I'll write it
Tenement.
down.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I thought that was really
So,
nice because it's like I do believe that there are invisible forces around us that they can't make our
Pulling
success
us up,
for us,
right?
but they can encourage us and do little things to help us. You know, like Tinkerbell. Oh, we just lost Richard. Um, so yeah, so thank you for sharing that. I really like that.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, cool.
Well, have a safe journey,
Thank you. And
and I'll be thinking safe thoughts for you, you know, on your journey, and enjoyable thoughts for you. So,
yeah, exactly. I'll post in the Facebook. So for people watching, on Monday and Tuesday next week there won't be a hangout because I'm going to be traveling to Portugal. But on Wednesday we should be here. But I'll post to confirm on Tuesday evening, just so if I've definitely got the internet working. Otherwise it might have to be Thursday. But I think it should be okay for Wednesday. So have a great weekend, Glenn, and everyone watching. And Richard and Geraldine, I think your connection cut. So have a great weekend to you. Thanks for coming on. And thank you for reading, Geraldine. See everyone next
thank
week.
you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a safe journey.
Thank you. Bye.